Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, thank God for a great day, man. The weather is pretty nice, a little warm, but nothing uncomfortable. Of course, Bible study today, Sunday, so I gotta hurry up and get back here. I gotta do some things, and I want to get some real exercise before doing so. So that's really what it is for me. Just gonna make my Hollywood run and try to hurry up and get back here before 4 o'clock so I can get a quick shower and, of course, be ready for Bible study. But yesterday I followed the script that I felt was best for me. I decided to stay in. My body wasn't feeling all that great, and I actually did feel like getting out, but when I meditated on it, it was like, nah, you listen to your body, let's get some rest, and everything that you need you can pretty much get tomorrow, which is today. And so that's what it was. I followed the script after meditating on it, and ended up making a playlist with some of the music that came out this past Friday. The Elite CD 411. I haven't posted it yet, but it's complete. I haven't listened to it or did any art for it yet, but I really love the music that came out. Some of my favorite artists in R&B kind of all dropped around the same time, so it allowed for me to really make a playlist that I think is probably going to be one of the ones that has pretty solid replay value for myself. So yeah, man, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. Discovered a couple of new artists as well and threw some music on there. So, music looks like it's getting off to a pretty solid start in that genre for 2025, and hopefully that continues, man. So yeah, you guys can check me out at BDF at Apple Music, or BDF44 at Apple Music. I think it's actually BDF. I've been telling y'all 44, but I think it's only under BDF. And Apple Music in the United States specifically. So yeah, I've done so many playlists. You guys know I have a strong passion for that. I've been doing it for almost 9 years now, something like that. So 8 years, I'd say, and it's been great, man. But I've been making playlists my whole life, so that's not really accurate. I've actually been making playlists since I was a little kid, making CDs and stuff. But yeah, man, at the end of the day, I just had a great time doing that. I had no idea that I would make something that yesterday. I just figured I would have a regular day where I'd go out, maybe climb some hills in Hollywood, like always. Well, not always, but like I've been trying to work into my equation. But upon meditating, I felt like the Lord was saying, "Nah, I want you to stay here. You got everything you need. Let's work on a playlist and then get some rest, get some sleep." So I did that, and of course the Laker game was at 5:30, so that was another reason why staying in wasn't a bad idea. So yeah, that was fun, man. Had a only 2-hour nap, but it kept me up last night. That was a problem. I had not been sleeping during the day for almost a couple of weeks now. There's been no reason to do so. And so I finally gave myself a day where I sleep in the daytime between it wasn't even that many hours, probably like 2:30 to like 5 o'clock. I set my alarm for 5 o'clock so I can watch the game at 5:30, do the food thing, have a shower, and then watch the game. Those 2.5 hours kept me up until like 3:30 in the morning, man. After getting up, I didn't go to sleep. I was watching all this Laker content, and people outside my window were smoking weed and talking, and I just could not fall asleep. My mind was restless. It was very uncomfortable. But I felt like my body needed that sleep anyway. And I woke up on time today somehow, feeling pretty 100%. So I guess it worked out. But yeah, man, loved the Laker game last night. We beat the Denver Nuggets. And if you know the Lakers in this era, we have very, very bad luck against the Nuggets every time we play them, pretty much. And so beating them in demonstrative fashion was huge. And I left a lot of content for that. I'm pretty sure I'll make some while I'm out here too, talking about that. But I didn't make any art for the playlist. That was the thing that frustrated me. It was like I stayed up till 3:30 in the morning. I got in bed like 10 something and just could not fall asleep. I'm like, man, I could have got up and made all kinds of art, listened to the music and all of that with the time that I'm sitting here just restless. But instead, I just sat there restless. I did do some homework on the next Laker opponent. Watched all the highlights that I wanted to for the Dallas Mavericks in that process, so I can say I got that out the way. We don't play them till Tuesday, and I've already done the homework, so that's a good thing for what it is I do here. And so just trying to be productive, but my body has really been acting up, man. I just have been having a lot of these issues. And so that's kind of what it is, just trying to recover from all of that. And find time to get exercise too. Pushing myself and my push-ups yesterday, did a lot of those. Really strained through some push-ups. Feel like my body's getting weaker because of what's going on. I think I'm losing weight, which is on purpose, just cutting back on my diet. Not my diet, but the quality of what I'm eating has gotten better, and the portions have calmed down. So I think I'm losing weight, and as a result, it's taking away from some of my muscle mass, I think. So I don't know. I don't think fluctuating between heavy and small is a good thing, especially not at a real fast pace at this age. But so long as I continue to do the work on my body, I think I'll be pleased with what ultimately comes of that. So yeah, man, just trying to push my way through. And I tried something called Tender Pins. I didn't know what the hell that was. And basically I was buying some meat from the meat mart because I'm trying to find meat that I can put into my meals that ultimately that'll taste good. So there's a meat mart somewhere around here, and by way of Uber Eats, they deliver from that place. So I was looking at what all they had. They had a lot of stuff, but they had something called Tender Pins, and the picture of it looked like it was chicken. It looked like it was some type of like cooked chicken. So I'm thinking I'm buying that, and sure enough, that was not what that was. When they delivered it, it was basically raw beef on a shish kebab. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, luckily enough, I do have a freezer, so I can put that raw beef in there. But a shish kebab, I don't have an oven, so it's like, this is not at all what I thought it was going to be. But, the Lord was telling me, essentially, as I was thinking about it, I'm like, Lord, what is this? First of all, I felt like I was following the Spirit in regards to ordering it. Because I put it in my mind that I would buy some meat. I need some meat to eat with my food. It doesn't taste good without it. And the turkey that I have has been giving me trouble. So it's like, I got to find something else. There's a meat mart around here. As I was stumbling on to try to find something to eat on Uber Eats a couple weeks ago, I saw the meat mart. So I'm like, all right, let me try the meat mart. Let me see what they got. And they had chicken and beef and all this and that. I was like, chicken is hit or miss for me as it pertains to my stomach, but beef isn't all that healthy. So blah, blah, blah. Point is, I said, you know what? Let me try this Tender Pins thing. This looks like something I don't have to worry about having to cook raw meat because I don't have the oven and all that. So let me just try this chicken thing. Got the Tender Pins here, and it was like the complete opposite of what I thought. And so something told me, the Spirit essentially put it in my heart to say, just throw it in there with the rice. Throw it in with the rice. Let it cook in the rice itself. Because what I've been doing lately is putting smaller portions of rice and then equal portions of corn in the rice cooker. And that's what I've been doing, doctoring up my rice. Tastes a little better with the corn cooked with it. So what essentially came to mind was just throw the Tender Pins, pull out the damn stick, and throw the meat in there with the rice. And then what you also do is just put your veggies on the steamer, as I have been doing. All the veggies, broccoli, squash, 2 different types of carrots, some type of potatoes. I've been doing all of that with it. And what it ended up being, what the Tender Pins ended up being, was essentially the same type of beef that you put in beef stew. Very tender beef. That's what it is. Tender. And so it was like, it didn't require much to cook it because of the fact that it's tender. And so that's what I came to realize when I took a bite out of it. I was like, this is the most delicious thing ever. This is perfect. This is beef stew beef. And so following that voice led me in the right direction. I'm telling you, I thought it was a bad idea that I threw that beef in there with the rice. I didn't think it would cook properly. I figured it would still be kind of red by the time the rice would be cooked. But that ain't what happened. The beef was cooked properly. It tastes very good. And now I found something that I can utilize. Now, it's very, very expensive. That's the problem. A pound of that is like $20. They give you 3 pins, three shish kebabs for like $20 plus the delivery fee. So it's not cheap, but it does go with the meal very well. I'm basically eating beef stew, basically. And so it was amazing. The It tastes like they doctor it up with some type of, either they cook it in some type of liquor or beer. It tastes like it had some beerish type taste to it. But I mean, it's the exact type of meat that you want to put in a beef stew. And that, like I said, that was not what I was even going for. But what it ended up being is far more traditional to the stuff that I'm eating with than what it was I thought I was going for. So that was a major blessing in following that first mind. I didn't know nothing about nothing, but I listened to that Spirit of God tell me how to do it, and it turned out that doing so made it so that it was far better than what I had in mind. God's plan is far better than my own. And if you involve God in a lot of what it is you do, you're going to find out that is exactly what happens. Stuff that you know nothing about, listening to the Spirit of God will have you stumbling into great things. And so that's what happened. I followed that Spirit on every step of it and ended up getting some meat in my meal that now I'll try to get maybe once every 2 weeks or something like that if I can, depending on if I can afford it. But I know how to doctor up my meal, and it went from me eating calamari and rice, which don't have no type of vegetables to it. I was praying, God, can you please help me with my meal, because I'm having issues with my stomach and all this, and I can't eat a whole lot. And then now I got like a million different vegetables I put with it, potatoes. I'm basically cooking a beef stew. Went from eating just rice, calamari, to having a whole beef stew, man. So, those prayers worked for me. And, for the circumstances I got going on, that's really what it's about, man. Trying to lose weight, trying to eat right, trying to manage all these damn allergies. And God put these different things in my life, and it's good for me. It's really good for me, and I feel better. I feel lighter on my feet now that I've switched my diet up, added more vegetables to it. And even though I'm still having issues, I don't know what. Maybe it's something in one of the vegetables I have, but it's still giving me problems. So I got to try to figure it out. When I first started having some of the issues I was having, the one thing that I was wondering was, is my body reacting poorly to frozen foods? Because that was the constant. When I didn't have certain foods that were frozen, I was having no issues. But when I would incorporate something that had been in my freezer, suddenly I was having the issues that I'm having. So it's like, is there some correlation to that? There's so many different things that my body is not reacting well to, and because I have no answers, it's touch and go with every damn thing. So I really have no idea. But that's something that crossed my mind. Like, a lot of this, what I'm putting in there has been frozen. So what I try to do now is, instead of getting frozen broccoli, I'm getting raw broccoli. More raw carrots rather than frozen stuff. And so that's what I can do. But some of that stuff you can only buy frozen. So it's like, I don't know, man. But the way I see it is, as long as I continue to eat like 4 and 5 different vegetables with each meal, 2 fruits with each meal, eventually over the course of a month or 2 months, 3 months, however long it's going to go, I should start seeing a change in my body in a positive way. That's my hope. That's what should happen when you eat well, I'd imagine. And what I've come to understand is that because I was just eating rice and calamari, some apple and some grapes, it was hardly any vegetables in my meal. I had stopped buying lettuce, and some of the things that came from eating like that, coupling it with me eating out, just made it so that I wasn't getting the nutrients that I ultimately think are best for my body. And so that's where we're at. It's just the realization that I wasn't eating as healthy as maybe I thought I was, and it was time to reincorporate some entirely different things into my diet. And so you couple that with me adding things to my my workout and stuff like that, now I'm starting to see myself slim down just off of the strength of both those two things. Ab work that I've been doing a lot of. I've incorporated some balance work into my equation, for which I started doing before I left Linux. I was squatting with one-legged squats. I put my leg behind my back. I think I told you this already. And squat. The most I had ever done, probably at Linux, I got myself up to 12 before, it would be too much. At this point, over here, getting that reacclimated into that, now I'm doing 20 each leg, twice a day. I do that with my ab workout, and I do it with my suitcase squats. So it's like, I'm starting to find balance work and reaching new heights in that. Ab work, with crunches and stuff, reaching new heights with that, bicycle kicks. I'm doing so much stuff throughout the course of my day, and eventually I'm gonna start seeing the results that I'm looking for. So just trying to take care of myself, man. I imagine how bad I would be doing if I didn't incorporate any of these exercises into my equation, given some of the fatigue issues that I've been having with this stomach issue. I don't even know, but I'd imagine this is going the way it's supposed to go, because there's a lot of work being done even throughout it. So yeah, man, I'm just trying to promote wellness within myself, even if I'm not well. I'm not going to allow my body to stay idly in place. As I grow older, I'm not going to do that. That's really what I have to say about that, man. Just trying to take care of myself to the best of my ability. So, on the different topics, since we're doing a therapy session, I can just shift like I always do. You know, I was paying attention to what's going on in Gaza, and I thought that was some more funny stuff happening. Basically, some hostages, from what I understand, were released, and one of the dudes who was released kissed the forehead of one of the resistance fighters on the podium as they were providing him freedom. That debunks a whole lot of propaganda that Israel and America really want you to believe, that the resistance fighters are torturing these guys and they're the worst thing in the world. Every hostage that get released is talking about how they were treated kindly. Women are talking about how they were treated like queens. They were receiving everything they needed, the care, the food, everything. They were treated very well. And they really appreciate the humanity placed upon them from people that they were raised to believe are the worst human beings in the world. In this picture, in this situation, a hostage is kissing a hostage taker on the head. Now tell me where you see that at. You see what I'm saying? If these are the worst people in the world, how's this happening? So Netanyahu essentially went back on the agreement to release 600 hostages or something from Israel, because he felt like this was a humiliation ritual and that Hamas broke the rules in forcing the hostage to kiss the hostage guy on the head, the person who was ultimately holding him hostage. Essentially, they're saying that Hamas forced him to kiss that man on the head as a photo op, you know, of humiliation of Israel. Like, these people are so warped because of the projection of the things that they do. They are sick in that way, so they want to humiliate the opposition. And so when they interpret genuine appreciation, they interpret it as a humiliation intention, because that's exactly what they would do. They make you do something humiliating, probably far worse than kissing somebody on the head, if you know what I mean. And it's like, man, Israel, no one's like you, bro. You're the worst people in the world. That's why you think the worst in everybody else, because when you look in the mirror and you think of your own thoughts and you project what comes from you, it's always the worst stuff in the world. You're the worst people in the world. That's the truth. So, of course, you don't know genuine appreciation when you see it. Of course, it has to be some humiliation ritual, because you don't know goodness. It's not in you. You know, I'm better than everyone else, and anyone that otherwise challenges that is my enemy and wants to kill me. I'm a victim. A bunch of bullshit that allows for you to sleep at night doing the worst things in the world of human beings. The world's not like you, and we're proving that to you. You're in a world that you don't understand because you're the opposite of it. And that's what Jews of the Israel Zionist fashion need to understand. You're the anti-good in life. Like, you represent the evil that all of us were told to steer clear of. Your practices, the things that you talk about in regards to your Talmud and your Torah, or whatever you call it, it's the antithesis of the goodness that we were raised to believe in. The sharing of love and life, and the putting down of one's ego for the betterment of the entire. You are the opposite of that. You are the evil in the world. we're clear on that as we watch you engage in all of this self-serving, sadistic, humiliation, application behaviors toward everyone you hate. We understand your role. You are the enemy in human form to the goodness of God and the upholding of good people in this world. That's what you are. You're the devil in the book that we're told to steer clear of. You're who we're supposed to be rebuking when we ultimately ask the Lord into our lives. You are that in human form. And so that's what they need to understand. Like, they need to believe that and understand that, so they stop calling themselves victims. You're not victims. You're the stuff in the Bible that we're told to stay away from. You're the ones who killed Jesus. You're the ones who hate Jesus. You say what? When you talk about where Jesus is right now, what do y'all say? Y'all say he's boiling in feces and stuff like that. Like, that's the evil that we're told in the Bible that we need to steer clear of. You are who they tell us to protect ourselves against. And as the world continues to awaken to what it is you're about, they can apply what they see in them Bibles and in their Qurans and various different books. And like, yo, this is real. This who that is. That's who they are. They're the devil. People running around on earth, believing themselves to be better than everybody else, torturing people and forcing people into circumstances, benefiting and getting wealthy off of their investments in the various temptations of the world. That's what y'all do. Y'all get wealthy off of the weakness in the hearts of men. Most of your money is built off people sinning and being distracted from God, and the exploitation of people, and the application of self-hate and separation and different. Like, that's all you've ever benefited from. That's how you're as wealthy as you are, by cheating people, exploiting children in foreign countries, propaganda, placing evil upon the heads of your own people, making them believe that they should be evil and that they are victims in the process of it. Like, that is, you are the evil in the world. That's the truth. There's a lot of evil in the world, but you are the ones that the Lord has ultimately told all of us to stay away from. That's what 450 days of genocide, coupled with behaviors within your surroundings and the way you stumble over yourselves, just like an entity of the enemy, always making mistakes, never covering his backside, not fully, running into the walls that come with being wrong and doing wrong on purpose, killing each other in the name of hating people that are not y'all. Like, different, like, that's what you're doing. You're showing all of us. Those of us who've been paying close enough attention to it, we know what we're looking at. And that you continue to say the things that you say, or behave the way that you behave, and be confused in the way that you are. It's not confusing to any of us. We're watching you. We know what it is. And as God told us in various books, as we've already mentioned, they're not to fear you. He's going to wipe y'all away. He's going to make you feel the essence of suffering that you've applied to others. Yeah, all of that. And so this is what I have to say. Like, there's a lot of people who say Jews didn't kill Jesus. Okay, the Zionists did. That's pretty obvious. They're not real Jews, but they call themselves Jews, and they've been believing themselves to be Jews for 5,000 years. And they killed him, for sure. They hate him, and they still hate him. They'd kill him again if he came back, if they could. Listen to the rhetoric. Look how they treat Christians in their selective Jewish land. There's no application of love for anyone else in the fact that they're chosen. That's in and of itself weaponizes themselves against everybody else. Where's the tolerance? None. Why? Because we're the greatest. We're the best. We're the chosen and the victims. Oh, you that too? Damn, how you all of that? It allows for them to rest in the comfort of understanding that they can do all the worst things and then feel like they're vindicated in doing those things. They're not great. They're horrible. Been horrible. Those who support them are in the dark, and that's what it is. And just like anything else that is against God, it's always going to hide behind God and say that they're doing it for God. But the God that they serve is not the God that created all of us. It's the one that he's against, the enemy. The one that a lot of people like to paint off as a guy in red with horns. That's who they serve. That is exactly who they serve. The essence of the Antichrist, the essence of the enemy of Islam, that is who they are. And as we continue to pay close attention to their behaviors, the evidence becomes clearer and clearer and clearer to believers of many faiths. This is what you're dealing with. And their enemy, of course, is going to be celebrated by people who come to realize who they are. Why? Because the opposite of evil is good, is it not? And of course, it's going to have a certain dignity attached to it. So when hostages are taken by the enemy of Israel, the hostages always come back healthy, happy, kissing foreheads, thanking them, like in better shape. I mean, it's just the essence of what it is. This is good versus evil. So naturally, the enemy of evil is always going to be appreciated by the open-minded when exposed to it. This is the essence of the good and evil that we're dealing with here. It's all spiritual warfare at the end of the day. We're just flesh and blood, no doubt. And we're in a world that's surrounded by, worldly stuff that it doesn't have a whole lot of spirituality attached to it. But when you apply the essence of understanding of what spirituality's warfare is versus what it is you're seeing there, it lines up so perfectly, it's not even worth even thinking too much about. It don't require too much thought. You're going to continue to see examples of the resistance to Israel being appreciated by the open-minded and those that are ultimately in the dark as they're exposed to those enemies of Israel. And they're going to love them, they're going to appreciate them, they're going to thank them, they're going to say they were treated so nicely, and they're going to continue to show you that they are probably safer in the arms of those people than they would be anywhere else in the world. God bless the resistance. It ain't hard to tell, man. This is not hard. Like, a child could see all of this. A child could see all of this. A dog could watch this on TV in illustration form or what have you when you understand this. This is not hard. This is good versus evil. This is lies versus truth. This is dignity versus disgrace. That's literally what it is. And of course, the disgrace is always going to invert the truth. Try to mold what it is that they want rather than actually displaying what it is that challenges them to be the best. So that's ultimately what it is there, man. There's another story going around, and the evil Israel was essentially saying, yo, y'all sent back the wrong body of a certain martyr that ultimately we killed while in your possession, because that's exactly what it was. Where Hamas was holding these prisoners, Israel kept bombing, and they ultimately killed one of these people or several of these people. And they would, of course, Hamas, being with integrity as they are, had a private funeral for the people or the person that was killed, and then after doing that, were willing to send the body back to Israel so that they can bury their dead, because that's what people with dignity actually do. They don't leave people in the dirt to get eaten by bugs like Israel did, but actually have some integrity and dignity about the remains of your loved one if for some reason they die in their possession. Yeah, that. So what ended up happening was, because these people were bombed, and if you've been paying attention to this genocide, then you understand what bodies look like when they're bombed by Israeli American bombs. You know what it looks like. It's like you can't make out who's who. So what ended up happening was an error that I believe Hamas said that they had in sending the wrong remains or a mixture of remains or what have you. And when Israel got those remains back, they essentially said that it wasn't the lady. The husband saw the remains and did not identify them as his girl, his wife. So what ended up happening is, of course, Israel reneged on releasing hostages because of this. Of course, they claimed that they didn't kill these people, even though they obviously did. It's like the essence of what a hostage situation is, the complete opposite of everything you see in this genocide. Essentially, what Hamas ends up doing is taking these people, and then Israel tries to bomb everywhere they think these people are. So Hamas ends up being their saviors, trying to move them around as Israel continues to bomb where they think their own hostages is. This is a weird and sick situation going on there. But because of the Hannibal Directive, which is the art of killing your own people for the sake of killing the enemy as well, they are always looking to kill their own hostages and blame Hamas for the death of those hostages. And Hamas, being the integrity, God-fearing Muslim people that they are, always trying to save the hostages from their own country and trying to bomb them. Like, this is happening so much, and people don't really understand that. A good portion, if not all, of the hostages that have died in Hamas's care were killed by their own country. If not all. Including that of October 7th. That was a Hannibal Directive initiative. If I'm not mistaken, Gallant just told everybody that. So that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Like, this is evil, man. This is not, this ain't as simple as money and stealing land and all that. No, these are some sick, twisted ideologies in the minds of a lot of people who are alive today. And those ideologies have been in place for a very long time. And there's a lot of copycats and adaptees and people who want to join the gang, so to speak, going over there from all different places all over the world and telling the world that they are fighting for their own country when actually they just going to join a gang just like anybody else would in the inner city. That's like a hood hopper. I'm gonna go join a gang. Now I want to live and die for the gang. Now I rep the gang. No, you're not from there. You just hood hopping. That's exactly what Israel's allowed. A bunch of religious hood hoppers, so to speak, to come from all over the world, mostly sadistic, lost, and devilish individuals coming there to kill, steal land, and represent that of which is considered Zionist supremacy. That is exactly what this is. You see all different types of people from all over the world coming to Israel for the very first time and saying, because of my religion, I'm due to this land. You have no heritage to the religion, nor to the land, nor to the people of the land. But because you woke up in the morning on a random day and decided you wanted to be a part of something, now you get to join this religion and therefore are entitled to a certain land? Out of the sheer nature of them trying to expand their numbers, no different than a street gang? Get the hell out of here, man. Nobody buying that bullshit. None of y'all Jews. Stop lying. You're not Jewish. Let's just be honest. Y'all not Jewish. You're hood hoppers. No different than a guy on the street trying to find something to belong to. That's it, bro. You're not real with it. And after watching 460 days of genocide or whatever this has been, I'm not afraid to say that. I'm not afraid to say that on my platform. Hell no. At all. Y'all, just like y'all not afraid to kill children just because of their skin color, I'm not afraid to call you out for it, man. At all. At all. I don't care what country I'm in feels however they feel. I don't care about that, man. I adhere to a living God, bro. I'm in the belly of the beast, but I'm not of it. I'm a poison pill in the middle of it. I'm looking to kill it. And that's exactly what it is that I need to do to protect the children that it ultimately intends to kill with its policies. And I say that with a whole lot of confidence. I love America. The people here. I'm an essence of it. But the way that we operate is indifferent to the suffering of children all over the world, particularly in places where brown people are found. At some point in time, we need to ask for the protection of those children. Not continue to engage in what makes us feel comfortable that otherwise allows for this to be continued to be allowed. No, we gotta talk about how we're gonna protect these children. As it pertains to this government and the way that it is willing to give everything to the Zionist Jew gang, man, please. This thing needs to be destroyed for the betterment of humanity going forward. And I know it. That's just what it is. There are many kids that are not going to survive the future because of what America's about and their alliance to the Zionist entity, Israel. That is exactly what it is. And if you're confused by that or you align with that in any way, then you are a threat to those children. That's it. This ain't going to stop. The bloodthirst continues. The self-exhaustion and the victimhood agenda continues. They're not gonna slow down. They're never gonna slow down. They're always gonna be aggressive in upholding themselves above everyone else. They're always gonna have some excuse based on their wicked and warped way of looking at the world that should allow for them to continue on a murder mission to kill others. It's always going to be something. They're always going to come up with something or do something to try to justify the merrier is what they're going to say in regards to murder. That's it, man. That's it. They move of the enemy. Seinfeld and all these entities just like him. I don't care if they've been in your face for 35 years, bro. If they roll with Israel, they're about the essence of killing innocent children because they are brown, because they are black, exploiting all different types of people just because of the evil in their own hearts. And they're going to continue to expand their gang until they engulf the entire world with their supremacy. That is all it is. So if you want to join their gang, then you're an enemy of God. Whether you're spiritually bankrupt or not. You're going to understand that that's not just the winning side as it pertains to the practicalities of the world. But actually you are entering a spiritual warfare and joining the losing side. That's all it is. And of course you were raised, if you're an American or if you're in Australia or if you're in UK or any of the colonial lands, you've been raised to believe that you are wrong for aligning with the people in the Middle East, the Arabs, against that for which is Zionist whites or Zionist whoever joined the gang. You're going to think you're absolutely wrong for aligning with that for which they've smeared out to be the worst people in the world. But if you've been paying attention to what I'm paying attention to, that's exactly what you were wise for doing. The good guys are the guys they told you the bad guys are. That they told you this is just a byproduct of the circumstances themselves. Of course, they're going to tell you who the good guy is. And it's definitely going to be them. You let the bad guy tell the story, who the hell's the bad guy? It ain't the bad guy. I mean, like, that's the story. They've had control over the media. They've had control over the stock market. They've had control over a lot of what you buy as consumers. Your food. The various different organizations that are meant to help people. Humanitarian organizations, stuff like that. They've controlled those. The UN. All these different things. Your police. All of it. They're controlled by the bad guy. So, of course, they're going to always tell you who the bad guy is. And it sure as hell ain't going to be them. And then as fast as confusion within all of that structure. So you got one side saying this is not what it is, but some of it is, others is not. But at the end of the day, ain't none of it of God. And we got to understand that. It's not of the living God. It's not of the God that wants to provide blessings and life and the spirit of goodness to your surroundings. They ain't about none of that. They're about the enemy. They want death, destruction, supremacy of only one type of people. And ultimately the destruction of their own people in the presence of that. After they ultimately find themselves supreme over everything, they're just going to destroy one another. It's the essence of self-exhaustion and a better than everyone else type of sickness. And that is all they are ever going to be about. There's no goodness in that. There's no peace in that. They're not about peace. They're about lies. Just like the enemy they serve. Whatever comes out of their mouth, they lie. Whatever they apply to someone else, they do. Every accusation is a confession. It's just the rule dealing with these people. If Israel said it, they lied. If American government said it, they lied. If they told you somebody's a bad guy, they're the good guy. If they say anything about themselves, it likely isn't true. It's the essence of what it is we've come to understand from watching 450 plus days of genocide. This is what this has taught us. I'm not confused. I've prayed about this. I'm not worried. I don't care about what it is I can't receive because it is. All of that is assuming that what they have is going to continue as if they're going to win. They're not going to win. They're going to lose. The essence of what they do is self-destructive. So of course they're going to lose. They're going to make sure of it. If God doesn't, that's the point. I don't fear an entity like that. I just need to stay away from it. So when it implodes, it doesn't suck me in with it. Or when it explodes, it doesn't take me out with it. But in the meantime, while it's doing the damage that it's doing before its destruction, we got to try to mitigate and save as many people as we can. And that's really what it's about. Ain't deeper than that. A lot of y'all about money, y'all in the way. I'm telling you. Y'all money, I'm gonna get money, I'm gonna get money. Y'all in the way. Y'all in the way of a war that is bigger than you. I'm telling you. All y'all opportunists and stuff like that, you are parasites at this point. And that's what people need to really believe. There's a lot of y'all that think money is the only thing worth getting in this world, and it's the only fight. It's against poverty. Y'all are mental midgets, spiritual midgets. Just being honest with you. In the presence of something like this, you're just simply in the way. Got to hurdle over you to get to what it is the Lord wants of us. And there's going to be a lot of unhappy people about a lot of unhappy capitalists ain't going to want to hear that. I don't find myself inclined to care at all. Y'all spiritual midgets, y'all in the way. Y'all need enlightenment so that you can find your way. Until then, you are in the way. I promise you that. I don't care how much you think you've accomplished by accomplishing earnings and exploitation of others and all this different stuff. Believe me when I tell you, if you were where you need to be, you'd be pouring your money into whatever God tells you to. You wouldn't be hoarding it for yourself. You wouldn't be putting it into your family, your fear, whatever the hell, or aligning with the Zionists so that they can keep it in place. You wouldn't trust them with nothing at all. You would be trying to destroy them, just like I'm trying to do with my voice. If you were where God wanted you to be, if you weren't in the way, that would be the way. I'm telling you, man. I want people to understand what I'm saying here. Capitalism is a product of the enemy. Hoarding of wealth and ensuring that you're the only one that has a lot, or that only the people in your position are respected because they have a lot, and that you're comfortable with that of poverty in your midst, and you could do something about it, but you're hoarding that money, you are in the way. In regards to this fight, you are a problem. And if God does what he's going to do, from which I understand, to win this war, a lot of y'all going to have a lot of what it is that you're hoarding either wiped away from you, or it's going to drop in value in your hands. And you're going to be forced to figure yourself out without the presence of that being something that you can fall back on. I'm telling you. The rich need to understand what I'm saying. A lot of what you have ain't worth a damn thing in the long term. Nothing. Because it's a spiritual war, and we are a spiritual world. And you don't realize it in a lot of cases, or are an enemy to it. As to which you are not going to get very far in the long run. Not going forward. Behind us, yeah, you were able to thrive. Going forward, in the Zionist-led world, you're going to find out that what you hold ain't worth shit. I'm just telling the truth. It ain't worth much, man. Your land, what you think you own, look around you. This is the essence of people stealing land. Stealing. And justifying it amongst themselves and amongst those who are either going to hold them accountable for it or not. Whatever deed you think you own your property, whatever you think you have that you belong, it don't belong to you. It belongs to the spiritual war that we are now in. This is good versus evil. Either you align with the good or you align with the evil and die with it. But I promise you, all this for which ownership and litigation, all this different shit as it pertains to the way that we operate, a lot of that is going to be obsolete someday. Completely obsolete. It's not the only thing you're going to be able to hold is what you can kill and die for. That's it. Money, all of this, trusting that you're going to be able to buy security, all of that shit is going to be out the window. It's not going to exist. Borders and things like that protect you. You can send people over that border and build a wall, all that shit. It's going to be gone. It's going to be gone. The Zionist-led world is going to be gone. The sheer nature of what they're doing is making that for which is structured in that way obsolete. And they don't understand that necessarily. But it's clear to me. That's exactly what they're doing. You are essentially breaking down the walls as it pertains to what people will respect, as it pertains to ownership, currency, what's mine is yours, what's yours is mine. Type energy is now going to be what it's about. If you continue to let these Zionists control everything, they're going to destroy every structure that you have in place that ultimately you respect today. I promise you. I promise you. This shit got about 100 years left at tops. 100 years left. A lot of y'all don't care about what it is I'm saying because you're going to die before then. All of us probably going to die before then. But our kids, our kids' grandkids are the ones that are probably going to be affected by what it is I'm saying. So if you plan on handing something over to somebody, you plan on passing things down, your only real battle at this point is spiritual. And if you don't believe in that, then you're really lost. You're gonna lose it all. That's what God's put in my heart to tell you, man. This is the end of an empire, man. It's the end of many empires. It's the end of many structures of quote-unquote civilization, man. The end of that. Now it's going to be understood that this is spiritual warfare. The proof is coming. This is all spiritual. I don't come here telling you this is the end of the world. I don't know that. Now, God has not told me this is the end of days or nothing like that. It's not what I'm telling you. I'm just telling you what keeps this structure going. A lot of what it is that y'all think we're going to just keep on respecting. I own this. This is mine. I hold this. It's mine. It's in my bank. All that shit is going to hell. It's going to disappear, man. It's not going to be on the face of the earth. I'm not pushing fear. I'm telling people what the Lord has put in my heart. It just is what it is. If you fear it, you fear it. But the only things that are really going to matter is the essence of the substance in your heart. Your manners are going to get you where you need to go. Your ability to believe in something greater than yourself and follow that for which is the Spirit is going to get you where you need to go in the future. Not falling back on currency or your works. Some of y'all reputation is going to be deterred by the bad energy that you've engaged in building your wealth, and you ain't going to have no friends in places where you otherwise need them. You had better turn that around right now. You had better start turning that around. A lot of y'all only care about your own people, stuff like that. That doesn't work. It's not going to work in the future. It's not going to work. Don't pass that to your kids. It doesn't work. I'm telling y'all, man. It's a lot of people who think that the way things are going to stay the same. But this world is evolving in a different kind of way, and it's not a good way, in my opinion. Not very good. When you stand by idly and watch the ruling powers destroy children, and you got ruling governments clapping and praising the person who's engaging in it, the structure for which holds that government together is now cursed. If it wasn't cursed before, it's cursed now. On the backs of the children and the innocent people that it ultimately allowed to be slaughtered in the name of its own self, man. That self-exhaustion it puts curses on you, man. It puts curses on you. Unprecedented curses, I tell you. As if slavery didn't do enough of that. As if genocide to this country didn't do enough of that. But you did it in modern times. You did it in modern times. You did it today. You let that continue to be compounded on top of the karma that was already upon you. And you stood in your exhaustion for yourself and did not care about what ultimately happened to others, or a lot of whom are in your own country. And I'm telling you, that is a curse upon you now. You got to live with that. You got to engage in energy that ultimately is going to be a response to that energy that you put out. What goes around comes around, man. I keep telling y'all. And as it pertains to just individuals as well as structures, states, cultures, gangs, religions, all of that. What go around, come around. And you sat back and you stood idly while they were doing this, and you pledged allegiance to them while they were doing this, and you align with the structure of the modern day as it pertains to the capitalism, over that for which is the preservation of human life. It's going to be energy to come with that. That's why your structures fall. That's exactly why I said what I said over the last 10 minutes, because that's what you've done. You've cursed it. That for which you held sturdy, you cursed with your modern indifference to the slaughtering of not only the Palestinian people, but many people all over the world as you continue to hoard off the backs of their blood. You're going to fall. Video 44. I thank you all for watching.